If you've been in the weight loss business for any length of time, at least a year, you know just how critical October is to the entire year. October is probably one of those months that if it's not top two, it's definitely a top 3 month of the year for a host of reasons. And first and foremost, it's a huge revenue generator. Statistically, when we look at it, not only since 1989, but just in the last 5 years, October has ranked second in the course of the year for total revenue generation, behind kind of a tie between March and April, depending on what part of the country you're in. But universally, October seems to be the month. As have been noted in these videos and some online presence that we have, you can tell that other folks in the weight loss space recognize this as well. That's why there's a huge uptick in pharmaceutical spending when it comes to obesity management pharmaceuticals. There's a huge uptick in spending for all of your self-directed programs and online strategies. There's a huge uptick in regional and there's really no such thing as national TV advertising, but regional television advertising for some of the larger weight loss brands. So October is a huge new patient, client, or member acquisition month. Everyone's getting ready for the holidays. We are in the throes of the very beginning of that. Number two, if you are getting organized for next year, you should have all of your advertising at least laid out in a broad stroke for all of next year. Should be done by the end of this month, especially for those of you that are doing major television buys, whether it's cable, broadcast. If you're doing major radio buys, you're negotiating your newspaper contracts, whether it's by column inch or by space, that, or by column inch or by frequency rather. No matter what you're negotiating, pay-per-click programs, clickbait programs, click funnel programs, you name it, all of those things should be organized at least in a broad stroke by the conclusion of October. Thirdly, this is an issue for budgetary preparation. The budget issues you need to be facing with, you shouldn't be setting your goals for next year on December 30th or December 31st. You should be laying out January through September already for next year. Use part of what you did last year as a guide for the rest of the tail end of next year, but then adjust it as you complete the next 3 months. So you want to get your revenue objectives in order for new client acquisition, new patient acquisition, new member acquisition. You want to get your media buys organized, your advertising ready to go. You want to get your budget structure ready to go. And then lastly, this is the month to be making staffing decisions. The time to make a staffing decision is not at the end of the year. If you are seriously thinking about adding to your team or introducing new training programs, the time to do this is not in January. The time to do that is now. You need to get your ducks in a row, if you will, to get your staffing ready to go so they have already cut their chops by the time January rolls around. Now, our real season doesn't even begin until mid-February. However, if you've been open for any length of time, there's a huge audience that you have that you've already been working and massaging and manipulating and managing to a large extent that will respond to you in January. But the preponderance, the bulk, the huge wave of new patient, client, and member acquisition will occur somewhere around the second or third week of February. Now, I always think right about this time of the year, we can't have enough global warming, especially when it comes to spring. The earlier the spring nationwide, the better everyone's going to do. The later it takes for spring to come around, the worse impact it has. So and when I say worse, it just means people are delaying their spending. We're Americans. We're consumers first, Americans second. People just don't, it's too boring to sit and not spend money. So even if there's bad weather, as soon as that weather clears up, people are out there. Just look at where there's been hurricanes. Almost every center we deal with, within 2 weeks of Hurricane Irma and the rest of all these storms, we're back to and captured revenue, with rare exception, that they had lost. So during the hurricane and preparation for the hurricane. So those are the 4 things you need to be prepared for. Now you may be saying to yourself, Man, I don't know what to do. Well, we might be a good partner for you. We're intelliFRAN. We are the only company that works with physicians, chiropractors, as well as franchise investors and weight loss centers, whether they be franchises or standalone operations. So what we're able to do is guide all of our partners through those activities. We do a month-to-month agreement. We don't do anything beyond that. If it's working out great for you and for us, we keep doing it as long as we're having fun and everybody's making money. We don't charge commissions, fees, overrides, kickbacks, a piece of the action, anything like that. We do a flat fee that, trust me, is less than probably 1/3 of your average program sale. And we just see what happens. Now, we can only help about 1/3 of the people that we work with. About 1/3. You may fall into that 1/3. Click us, call us. There's 12 ways to reach us. Let's have a conversation. Let's figure out if we're a good partner for you for 2018. Now's the time to get organized and get in line for that, to start that machine running. So by the time the first of the year rolls around, we've already had a chance to work with your team. We've already had a chance to help you with those 4 things that I just addressed. Have a great day.